Good morning. Welcome to Wisdom for Your Week. I'm April Williams, and today is Friday with family and friends. And today I have a very special guest, Coach Bundy from Buford High. Coach Bundy graduated from Buford High and obtained his Bachelor of Science degree in Physical Education from Winthrop University. He's been married for 21 years and has 2 daughters. He teaches physical education at Buford Elementary and has been coaching football for 20 years. He's also coached soccer for 11. His teams have been quite successful with the District Region Championship in football and a Region Soccer Championship. So Coach Bundy was named Region Coach of the Year in 2017, and he has come on today to share with us his successful tips for creating an effective team. Thank you so much for joining me today.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
So what are some of your tips? Because you take sometimes a whole group, and at times it's a lot of new players, so you got to take all these new players and you've got to get them to work together and be successful. So what have you found that has helped you do that?
Well, we have a parent and player meeting at the first of each season to go over the parameters, not only of what I expect with as far as their discipline, but as far as in the classroom. I tell my players that they're going to be the best behaved students in the school, because to represent our school, it's a privilege and not a right, and that they shouldn't take it lightly. And it kind of lets everyone know from the start that we're serious about success, and we've worked hard to build the program to the level that we have, and so it just sets the tone from the beginning.
So from the very beginning, you let them know your expectations, that you want excellence, and that kind of focuses them for the year.
Right. And it also, in today's time, it's so important, I think, to let the parents know right off the bat, because they've come from different levels maybe, and they're not used to maybe a coach that has the expectations that I do, and it lets them know, okay, this is serious. If we want to maintain what this program's been built to, and I tell them their importance in it, because it's not just me and it's not just our coaches. They spend a lot of time obviously at home, and so I need them to motivate them at home to maybe go out in the yard and work on their skills and things like that.
And I think that's important too, to get the parents involved, because I don't know about football, but those soccer games,
yes,
they can get a little rough there. And I'm not talking about the players, I'm talking about the parents.
Every sport.
So and that's one thing. My husband Todd assists Coach Bundy, and he said that you're very good at making those expectations known, because sometimes you got to control the parents.
That's right.
Not the players. That's
right. They get their son is the apple of their eye, and so they're very they focus on that on him maybe, and not what we have to focus on the whole, as rather than just the individual.
All right, so we had talked about before, you said the first point is having focused leaders and goal setting. So tell us more about that.
Yep, like we just said, building a team is tough. Every year is a different animal, as they say. You have different dynamics. This past season, we had the season before that, we graduated 12 seniors, and they were really good, and we won championships with them and a lot of games. And so coming into the season, everybody was saying to my players that were returning and to me, this is going to be a rebuilding season. And so to be honest, I didn't really know what to expect, but I just knew that we had to keep the level of commitment and sacrifice that we'd had, that some of those returners had seen, because that's what they were used to. And once you build and set that standard, then it makes it a little more easy for the new faces that come in to buy into the roles.
Right. So from the very beginning, you focus them, you cause them to set those goals, especially for your new players. So that's number one, goal setting and focus leaders. And what was number 2?
Okay. Well, and I was going to say, you have to have. They have to see a path, a clear path. And I was reminded, as I was making some notes for today, about Alice in Wonderland, of all things. But when she came to that fork in the road, and she asked the Cheshire Cat, she said, "Which path should I choose?" And he said, where are you heading? And she said, it doesn't matter which, or she says, I don't care where I go. And he says, well, then it doesn't matter which way you go. You have to know where you're going so you can set the parameters to go in that direction, or you're lost.
Yeah, that is so important. And some people they don't really have a clear goal, so it doesn't matter which path they take.
Right. And then the setting direction, you have to, talk daily about what does it take to get us there, to meet our goals. What do you have to do on your own time? On my emails, when people get an email from me, it's a Anson Dorrance quote, who's the coach at University of North Carolina, the winningest coach in college history, and it says, the vision of a champion is someone bent over, drenched in sweat, when no one else is watching. And that's what I tell them in the off season, being there before practice, after practice, working on it. I always say, make your weaknesses your strengths. If I come to a player and I say, you need to work on this particular skill, or work more with this foot, they need a direction and know where they're headed to help them as individuals, but to their part in the team to be successful.
That's so good. Setting direction. Okay. And so your third point was?
Okay. Mobilizing the team performance. And this is, again, important with parents. You have, players who coming up, say rec soccer or other things, they're guaranteed playing time. And so I'm a lot of times the first coach to say, nothing's guaranteed. And I keep, say, 16 players, and only 11 can play, at a time. So I have to go to these players that maybe don't play as much and let them know what their role is in the team, and that it is very important. I don't want them to think, well, you're not as important as my star players that get most of the stats. I want them to know, if you keep working and you keep improving, then the competition between you and that starter is more intense, and that makes them better, it makes you better, it makes our team better. And to whine and complain about playing time undermines our goals as a team. If you're complaining about it, life, I tell them, it's, sports are like life. It's, if you're going to get out what you put in. If you're going to whine and complain and say, oh, woe is me, life is going to be tough for you. You gotta just buck up and make it happen.
Yeah, and that's something that even we as adults need to learn.
Right.
And a lot of the coaching tips and the things that you do with your players are so important, and are even things that you can utilize in corporate teams,
right,
in small business teams, and church teams. Because you talk about having, and I love your point about the Alice in Wonderland quote, that if you don't even have a goal, it doesn't matter what path you take.
Right.
And so many times in our lives, we just, or in corporations and churches and teams, or even as a family, there's no goal. So there's no clear set direction for which way should we go, which path should we take. And that is so important. And then also, I love the mobilizing the team performance. You really have to earn your way.
Right.
And in life, it's the same way. I think a lot of times, I've hired people, and there's sometimes an attitude of, well, and even in young people, I'm here, and this is what I'm doing, and you should allow me to do this and this. But you have to earn your way in life. It's not going to come to you. So those are Coach Bundy's 3 bullet points for today. Focus leaders and goal setting, setting direction, and mobilizing team performance. And those are so important for successful team performance building. And I know my husband Todd, who works with Coach Bundy, has been so impressed because Coach is very focused on the people, and you're a great mentor. And thank you so much for coming on today. So like and share, 5 people that need to hear this message about team building. Also, you can email me at wisdomforyourweek@gmail.com, wisdomforyourweek@gmail.com. I'm also on LinkedIn and Instagram. All right, and join me next week for Wisdom for Your Week. I'm April Williams, and this was Coach Bundy, and thank you so much for joining us today. Stay inspired.